This is how your LubeBuilder will arrive. After unpacking the crate, make sure you have all items necessary. Of course, our LubeBuilders are designed to be endlessly customizable, so your crate may have different items. Today we're setting up a 3-tank LubeBuilder unit. Even if you're going to set up more tanks or less tanks on your LubeBuilder, the installation process is going to be the same because of our simple, no-hassle design. Let's unbox it and make sure there's no damage or missing parts. This is the air regulator water trap combination. This is the T-fitting. This will connect to the vacuum generator when you're getting set up. Next, you're going to see your control panels. Each tank is controlled by its own easy-to-access panel, mounted in a place of your choosing. All of your hoses are included, but you'll need to cut them to fit your platform. Air hose lengths will need to be trimmed for connecting air to panels and then to the tanks. Fluid hoses will need to be trimmed also to connect to panel, then to tanks, filters, and then onto the reels. Filter heads for mounting heavy-duty filters in easy-to-access spots. Hardware kits will include everything you need to mount your LubeBuilder. However, some fasteners may work better than others for your application. Now, to get your new LubeBuilder installed, our unique modular system allows for easy expansion or adjustments to suit your needs, so your crate may have different items. Let's go ahead and set this one up. Now, after you've accounted for all your parts, it's time to install the LubeBuilder onto your specific platform. Now is the time to decide where and how you'll mount the LubeBuilder to your specific platform. For this installation, we'll be mounting it to this utility bed. Take a moment to set your tanks, reels, and panels in the place you think they'll work best for you. Make sure none of the reels are hanging over the side. See that you'll be able to get to everything by making sure nothing will be too cramped, restrictive, or hard to get to. One thing to be mindful of is your oil filters. Make sure you place the tanks where you think they'll go, and then check to see if you can still access your oil filters for easy replacement when necessary. Another important consideration, make sure you don't drill into the fuel tank or wiring or anything else when you drill your holes to install the equipment. Check both sides. We roll underneath the installation spot with a flashlight to make sure our drill has enough room. Next, you'll want to find a place for your air regulator water trap combination. However, you won't be needing much access to this as it gets set to 70 psi and stays. 70 psi is the optimal setting to maximize LubeBuilder performance. This particular system is getting an air reel for pneumatic tools and connections. That's why it has an optional T-fitting directly off the compressor. One outlet goes to the regulator to be set no higher than 70 psi, and the other goes to the air reel for blow nozzles or anything else to be used for regular high pressure, unregulated compressed air. Next, find a good place for the vacuum generator assembly. On this truck, we're installing it in the utility box. You'll want easy access and full range of motion for the vacuum generator valve. Make sure all your fittings have room around them. We'll be running the air from the regulator to here next. The next hose to connect to the T before the vacuum generator will be the one that connects to your pressure inlet, which is the bottom fitting on the back of your first LubeBuilder control panel. Finally, you'll connect your vacuum generator to the vacuum inlet, or the top fitting on your LubeBuilder control panel. Next, we're going to show a live schematic or hose map. This is for those of you who are familiar with the installation process and only need a refresher on the specifics of the hose connections. The top opening is always the vacuum, and the bottom opening is always the pressure. The bottom opening always goes to the T before the vacuum generator. Your next hose will go from the LubeBuilder panel to the top of the tank or the tank air inlet. These plugs have to be in the last panel's unused nozzles. If the nozzles in the final panel aren't plugged, the system won't work. Remember, it doesn't make it more complicated to add extra tanks. Just make sure your top openings are always going to vacuum and your bottom openings are always ran to the T before the vacuum generator or the pressure side. Then make sure the last panel you install has the red plugs in place. The final connection on the LubeBuilder between the air panels and the tanks will be between the bottom of the tanks and your filters. Once installed, we'll simply connect our reels to the filters and then to the tanks. Now that you know how the hoses connect, it's time to mount everything permanently and then attach all the hoses. Once again, make sure you won't hit anything and that you'll be able to hold the nuts to tighten the tank mounts. Before bolting all the tanks down, we'll want to make sure our connections to the bottom of the tanks are installed. We cut our hose lengths with a hacksaw or die grinder. Hose cutters won't work on the metallic fibers throughout the hose. You'll want to use pipe dope here and lubricate the hose barbs. But first, make sure that the hose crib fitting is on the hose before pushing it on the barb. Once your tanks are installed, you can turn the fittings for proper alignment, but make sure you're only turning them to the right. Tighten them only if you have to turn them. Make sure every hose, except the clear plastic hose, gets a lubricated barb and pipe dope along with the clamp. Make sure you lubricate the filter gaskets before screwing them onto the filter head. For the connection to the back of the panel for the barrel straw, we use a worm gear hose clamp for easy access. Cut the hose with a hacksaw or die grinder after you made a good measurement. After you get the last hoses routed, go ahead and make sure all the valves on your system are closed. Lastly, you'll want to label all your tanks, reels, and panels to ensure you're transferring the right fluids to the right places. Now your LubeBuilder is ready to operate. One of the best ways to check proper functionality is to set all your tanks to 70 psi and leave them to sit overnight. The next day, all tanks should still be at 70 psi. If not, you could have a small leak. You can also use soapy water and look for air bubbles where you think there might be a leak. Thanks again for choosing Sage Oil Vac. We think you're going to love LubeBuilder's endlessly customizable features and durable, thoughtful engineering. We created it because we know efficiency in the field is important to you, and every situation or need is different. Only you know the unique challenges your crews face in the field. Now with LubeBuilder, you can meet those needs in a custom-tailored way.